What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. How is everybody doing? Today, I am rejoined by the Burt Locker host, Burt Green. Sir, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm very good. Very, very good. I've got almost half a beer in me. It's almost Friday. You know, it's almost time for the UFC. Hell, I'm almost happy, Dave. You know?
That's good to hear, man. Well, this is actually going to drop on Saturday, so the fights, sir, are tonight.
I mean, yes, I suppose you could look at it like that. You're a glass half full kind of guy, aren't you?
Absolutely, man. Do you have any advice for you? Do you have any advice for your future self?
Bet the house on Frankie Edgar.
Frankie. Right. We'll get into that. Today we're gonna discuss in as little or as much detail as what presents itself. UFC 268 live and exclusive this weekend. Very excited for these fights. It is a stacked card, and we're going to do our best to break down the I guess the main card. That's as far as I'm willing to extend tonight, because I'm quite tired. I do 3-hour podcast, but I ain't Joe Rogan.
It's a hell of a main card.
The card has rearranged during the week. I don't know what the controversy is with this, but
there is no controversy.
There's none. It was just rearranged for no reason.
No, it wasn't rearranged for no reason. It's so that because obviously Trevor Whitman's cornering all three fighters, and he didn't want to just go back to back to back. So it makes perfect sense. And also, what a way to kick off the card. If you're going to kick off the card, it might as well be Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler.
Very true. Very true. I missed that. Yeah, Trevor Whitman's got 3 fighters, and obviously one after the other is not ideal for 3 in a row. But yeah, so the main card is opening with Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Very, very exciting fight. Who do you have, and how, and why, and where?
Now, this one I've been going back and forth on, because Justin Gaethje, we know he's good. Yeah, I mean he's gotten even better since he's been with Whitman. His striking's gotten crisper. He has a lot more patience, and you could tell that in the Tony Ferguson fight. So between rounds, because he did get caught with that uppercut, and I think Trevor Whitman said to him, "Look, you need to calm down. Like, you are picking them apart. Calm down. Take just something off each shot. You don't need to put them away with every shot." And I think that makes Justin Gaethje relatively dangerous. Then obviously, he got mopped by Khabib, but who doesn't? There's no shame in that one.
Yep.
However, we've not seen him since then. And with respect, I always say, now people ain't going to like this, but how good is Tony Ferguson really? Like, that's always been my question. You look at this winning streak he put together. I don't know off the top of my head, and do you know why? It's a lot of tin cans in there. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I'm kidding. No disrespect, but. No disrespect, but a lot of disrespect. Like Ferguson, and also, like, let's be fair, he made hard work out of a lot of those fights. Showing the Anthony Pettis fight, that could have gone either way. He was getting the shit kicked out of him, so was Anthony Pettis. And at the end of the day, like, Tony Ferguson, yeah, he's very good, but he's also very reckless, and he doesn't really protect himself all that well because he's too happy to get into a war, which is exactly what Justin Gaethje enjoys. I think that people are sleeping on Chandler here a little bit because he got knocked out by Oliveira. But that's because it kind of turned into it got a bit frantic, didn't it? Because he knocked Oliveira down, didn't he? Unless I'm misremembering it completely.
No, that's true.
And then it went back and forth, and then he got caught. I think that Michael Chandler is too smart of a fighter to get involved in that kind of shenanigans again. And I think that a lot of people are kind of, because I don't know one person who's picking Michael Chandler in this fight, except me. I am picking Michael Chandler in this fight. Okay. I'm picking him by knockout. The TKO. I don't think anyone's flatlining Justin Gaethje. It's never happened before. You have to, you have to beat the will out of him like Dustin Poirier did, because that fight was stopped and it was a TKO, but it wasn't like he flatlined him. And I don't think, off the top of my head, I don't think that that's ever happened to Justin Gaethje, because I think he's honestly too tough. He's got too much cement in his head. He's tough as they come.
Yeah.
But Chandler, he's a very explosive, very good athlete. I think that early on, the advantage may well be with Chandler, but I mean, it's going to be close. I'm by no way am I counting Justin Gaethje out of this. Obviously, he can win this fight, but my money is probably going to go on Michael Chandler purely because he's the underdog, and there's some value on there because I think people are forgetting that he's an absolutely incredible athlete, and he's got ridiculous power as well himself. If someone was going to flatline Justin Gaethje, it's probably Michael Chandler.
Yeah, what you're saying is all very, very possible. I love the episode of Food Truck Diaries with Brendan Schaub, Justin Gaethje, where Gaethje called him out and said, "Hey, stop calling me reckless. I'm not reckless." And then Brendan, in his defense, was like, "But you're reckless, you know?
You're so reckless, dude.
So reckless, like caution to the wind, balls to the wall, however you'd like to call it." Who was it? Michael Johnson at some press conference called him the Homer Simpson of the UFC. There's so much truth to that. Michael Chandler, when you talk about him, his body of work outside the UFC, his first fight in the UFC, and then his title fight, like after his first fight. So you're basically going to fight for the title after, like, in your second fight. Makes no sense. Did the pressure get to him? Who knows? But this is a good fight to bounce back after your title chance. And let's see what happens. I think if Chandler's smart, he'll take it to the ground and just try and grind out Gaethje and take away all that reckless abandonment from Gaethje and hold him down and beat him up for 3 rounds.
I think you've touched on something there, because I think you've identified his path to victory. Now, I don't think he necessarily gets the takedown, but I don't think he necessarily needs to get the takedown. The threat just has to be there, because obviously, Tony Ferguson, he's like rolling with Eminyari roll, whatever they are. I thought he was talking about sushi, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's just it literally like, but he's not shooting him for a power double. He's not really, he was clutching at straws. He was going for desperation. And I think that honestly, Michael Chandler, he doesn't have to get the takedown, but I think he does have to threat with it.
Right.
And that's going to at least make Justin Gaethje think about the takedown. And if he's thinking about the takedown, he's maybe not thinking about protecting his head. But
yeah, just like the whole Conor Khabib scenario. Excuse me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. When Khabib went in for that fake takedown and landed that,
and then
beautiful right on Conor.
So
yeah, you're taking Michael Chandler via KO or TKO.
It's gonna be TKO, but on the betting lines, because obviously, I'll tell you what, I can bring the betting lines up here, because because what I like to do, the when you're betting on it, it doesn't make a difference. Like if it's KO/TKO, doesn't make a difference. So what are the odds on that right now? Let's have a look.
First, a word from our sponsors.
You're getting 9-2 on the knockout TKO for Chandler. I like that.
9-2.
9-2.
Okay.
So so it's not bad. I've seen worse. That is true.
What I think is going to be the fight of the night, but for all the wrong reasons, Marlon Vera versus Frankie Edgar.
Right. Okay.
I think Frankie should have hung it up 2 fights ago. I love Frankie. He has been an inspiration to me over many years of fighting. His classics with BJ Penn, the classics with what's his name?
Gray Maynard.
Yes. 2 classics with Gray Maynard. That first round assassination where he came back and won.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Insane.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Brain trauma is a real thing. I listened to his podcast, and you can really see the effects of CTE on this one. He's fighting this kid called Marlon Vera, who's a grinder, who's got boxing, kickboxing, elbows, knees, jiujitsu, wrestling, submissions, the full package, dude. And he's fighting a guy called Frankie Edgar, who should have hung it up, unless he's got a phenomenal contract and his kids are going to be set for life, dude. This has to be Frankie's last fight, and I think he's going to lose it.
Now, this is where me and you are going to disagree on this one, I think.
Oh, you're not allowed to disagree on CMA podcast, Burt. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, well, let me offer an alternative view.
Yes, you're allowed to offer alternative views.
Right. Now, okay, all of what you said is true. right? Frankie Edgar probably should have hung it up a couple of fights ago, but he didn't. For better or worse, he is in this fight. But you look at the guys that he's been put against, the guys that have been kind of like flatlining him. You know, Corey Sandhagen is like a weird, explosive striker. Like Marlon Vera, he might be a lot of things, but he's not an explosive one-punch knockout artist. He has got a lot of decisions on his record, and that's not generally how he goes about winning. Generally, like you said, he grinds. He kind of outworks people. I don't think that is the style to take in against Frankie Edgar. How are you outworking Frankie Edgar? I don't think it's going to happen, right? I think this is going to look very similar to. I don't think it's going to be a finish, but I think it's going to look very similar to when Frankie Edgar fought Yair Rodriguez. Everyone thought Yair Rodriguez was going to come in and just smack Frankie Edgar around, and it was going to last we've seen of Frankie Edgar. And then like one takedown and some vicious ground and pound later, like everyone remembered who Frankie Edgar was. I think you're right. I think this probably will be Frankie Edgar's last fight, but I think it's in Madison Square Garden. It's his home field advantage. He is coming in against somebody who he can beat. Like if this was like 6 years ago, it wouldn't even be a question, would it? Joey, if this was 6 years ago, it wouldn't even be a question. Frankie Edgar will be winning this fight, and I think that he has got enough left in him. Because I don't think that Marlon Vera, with respect to him, I like Marlon Vera. He's one of my favorite guys. I love all those Jason Perillo guys because of what Jason Perillo did for Michael Bisping. And for that, I just love any of the people that train with Perillo. Do you know what I mean? As well as I gutted that Mackenzie Dern fucking laid an egg. But, you know what I mean? But I love that camp. Love all those fighters. And I like Marlon Vera. He's one of those guys that seems genuinely likable, like because I see him on like the Michael Bisping podcast all the time because obviously he has them on because they're always down at Roofka training in Orange County, and as much as I like Frankie, as much as I like Marlon Vera, I don't think stylistically this is a particularly good matchup for him because I don't think that he's going to be able to outwork Frankie Edgar the same way he kind of tried to outwork Davy Grant in his last fight. Davy Grant was there to be hit. I think Frankie Edgar is going to be slightly too quick because again, like Marlon Vera is not a Sandhagen. He's not. With respect, he's not that style of guy. He's not got that explosive kind of horrible power that's going to kind of put Frankie Edgar away. That's going to cause him problems. I think Frankie Edgar is going to be in and out. I think
that knee was nasty versus Sandhagen.
Yeah, it was. Dude. But when do you see Marlon Vera landing stuff like that? You just don't. It doesn't really happen.
But look at the storyline. Marlon Vera took out Brad Pickett with that head kick, knocked him down, and then ground and pounded him out.
Brad Pickett beat Demetrius Johnson, so therefore he's the greatest fighter in the world.
There you go.
MMA math.
MMA mathematics. But that was in the UK. That was Pickett's last fight. This is in New York. Yeah, he retired him. This is in New York. This could very well be Frankie's last fight. I'm like, dude, this is the mathematics I try to stay away from. Now, but interesting one though. It should be a good fight.
One caveat I would say on that, because I'm saying you should put the house on Frankie Edgar because he's coming in as an underdog, and I really, really like Frankie Edgar by decision. Now, Frankie Edgar by decision. Let's have a quick look at the odds on that one, because
5-1, dude.
11-4. So that's like what 4? That's not great, is it? It's,
put a 10 around.
I'm gonna log in because I always bet in decimals because I'm an American at heart. 3.75. Yeah, so it's like 2 3/4 to 1, basically.
2 3/4 to 1. That god, that's
not
a tight
great.
one.
Not great odds. When you could just, but I do feel like that's probably the most likely outcome, unless Frankie Edgar gets some like real nice ground and pound in there.
We'll see.
Incidentally, 6-1.
Yeah,
that's not bad. But I do, like I said, but one slight caveat I would say is that if this is Frankie Edgar's last fight and he's already decided that is bad news, because you either need to be all the way in or all the way out. Like you can't be like, oh, I'm going to retire after this one. You can't have that mentality, because we've seen it. We've seen it before. When does it end well? Very rarely. True. I can't think of one instance where it ended well.
Co-main event, we have Rose Namajunas. Let me get the pronunciation right so I don't get hate mail. Zhang
Zhang
Whaley.
Whaley.
Zhang Whaley. I always
Yeah, Zhang Whaley.
overpronounce the A. I apologize to all my Asian friends out there who don't drink Superbuck.
No, they might.
They might. Portuguese beer is beautiful.
Nothing's stopping them.
There you go.
Nothing's stopping anybody these days.
I think I cannot bet against Rose Namajunas. I am a fan of her for many, many years.
You could.
You could do anything. It would be a
good
good
whatever
idea.
you want. Yeah.
I think she is an inspiration. I think she is a role model. I think she can be pushed in the direction of the new up and comers, the teenage girls that need a role model that would not be considered the Kim Kardashians of this world. The equivalent to the guys, John Jones, all that crap can stay over there. She's a good chick. She's very well spoken. She's a great fighter. She's got a great work ethic. That little segment that's on YouTube of when Johanna Jimczyk was bullying her. That's the one. She's Polish. I have a Polish wife. I don't want to get the pronunciation wrong, so I over exaggerate. There you go.
Yeah, Jimczyk. I don't know if that's even right, if I'm honest. If you say it as quickly as you can, then it's like who can accuse you?
Joe Rogan calls her Johanna Champion, so let's
Johanna Champion.
Stay the safe route.
I don't know. I thought that was Brian Stan that started that.
Was it? Oh, sorry. Okay.
Right, so yeah.
But she handled herself amazingly when all that trash talk was coming in her direction, and when she kissed her fist and shoved it in Rose's face.
Before that fight, I mean, I was all in on Johanna. Not that I liked her, I just thought she was going to batter her.
Yeah, before she was an Instagram model, she was before the boob job and all that fucking Miami Beach shit. She was a killer. Now she's just trying to be all.
Look, she can just do it. She's done her time, and let her do what she wants. She can sit by the pool now. Just don't start asking Dana White for championship money when you're not a champion.
I saw that.
Sorry, God, I really need to get off the fighter pay thing. I get so much hate for it. People hate me.
I love it, but it's a controversial topic.
It is, yeah.
But with Rose, the way she handled herself in that fight, in the rematch, she got bombarded against the OnlyFans Brazilian chick. What was her name? Jessica Andrade.
No, that's not. Oh wait, yeah, that is Jessica Andrade. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Rachel Ostovich.
But Rose, who beat Zhang Whaley. How do you pronounce it, Burt? Help me out here.
Zhang Whaley, I believe. I mean, I could be wrong.
Beautiful kickboxing in that fight.
Was
just the fake low kicks up to high kicks. Hit her with that. You see in the slow motion that Whaley was anticipating those leg kicks, so she kind of moved her legs back to miss the kick completely. Rose switched her hips, got a beautiful high kick, and ground and pound for the finish. Whaley did protest as she was falling back down into the referee's arms. But yeah, I think it's a justified rematch.
She was concussed. You can't really have a go for fight because she didn't know where she was. That's why she was protesting. You know what I mean? She didn't know the fight had even started yet. It's like, why are you calling the fight? It hasn't even started. It's like, no, you just got knocked out. It's like, what?
So I mean, what she's done now is apparently moved to the US, got involved with the US wrestling trainers specific to try and handle her in a more close fashion and avoid any kickboxing, which is kind of strange because you really don't learn anything that fast. This takes years of practice. You know what I mean? Who do you think and how and why?
Well, I don't know. This one is actually very difficult to call for a couple of reasons. We don't know what Zhang Whaley has been doing kind of in the interim. We don't know how much of it she's going to be retaining. As you said, you don't learn anything all that quickly. I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if she's necessarily moved to the wrestling camp with the goal of wrestling Rose Namajunas. I don't think that she really intends to move away from what brought her to the dance in the first place. What I would say is that whilst Rose Namajunas, obviously phenomenal, obviously like she absolutely, I mean, starched her, put her away. No two fights are the same. And what I would say is that we didn't really see what Zhang Whaley could do to Rose Namajunas. We just didn't get a chance to see that and that is the problem with it. As impressive as early knockouts are, it doesn't really give you a good indication of of what would actually happen when they get to fight, because they didn't really get to fight. You know, I always say this about, I honestly think that Aldo would beat McGregor in a rematch. I believe that. Like, I feel like we didn't really get to see them fight because, it is what it is. You can't take anything away from a big first round knockout, not at all, because they engineered that and they did it so perfectly. Rose Namajunas was perfect that night. Can she be perfect twice in a row? That's another question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because make no mistake, Zhang Whaley has got some serious power. I think that she'll have the edge in power, because like I said, I don't think that's really how Rose knocks people out. She knocks them out with precision, and I think that is probably what's going to happen again. But I do feel like, I don't know, there's something in me that wants to pull for Zhang Whaley, just because I feel like she didn't get much of an opportunity to really show what she can, because we saw what she can do to other people, and she is a legit talent. And I think that people are kind of, again, like not writing her off, but people are just like, well, it's going to be exactly the same result as last time. No two fights are the same. I think that it goes for longer, but I do think that Rose Namajunas still gets the finish, and it'll be a knockout, probably round 3.
Wow, that's good. I 100% agree with that one. I don't think you can. I don't think you can learn that much in 6-7 months of just wrestling. Just that grind is earned over many years of getting your butt kicked in the gym, and on top of that, we've seen what Rose can do when she's forced to grind, which was against Paige Van Zandt. She cut up Van Zandt's face when they fought the last time.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Insane. And, just she's got that whole kickboxing aspect. She's got that grind. She can wrestle against the cage. She can work from the top or the bottom if she's taken down. So I think, and I think it's a TKO.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then we move on to the main event of the evening.
Looking forward to this one.
Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. I cannot wait for this fight for many reasons. First of all, the trash talk is so calculated between the two guys.
Fun.
I love it. It's not disrespectful. It's trash talk.
Yeah, because it's like, because the thing is like there's a lot of people that don't like Colby Covington, and look, regardless of what your politics are, or whatever, what he's doing is fun. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's fun. People say, but it should be about respect. It's a sport. It's wrong. It's entertainment, and it is entertainment first. That's what people forget. That it's like, without it being entertainment first, there would be no money in it, and then nobody would watch it, and then nobody would do it. It has to be entertaining. That's what concerns me about the Danger Beard style. It does concern me a little bit. I know that it's down to the fighters to find a way to counter it, and eventually they will. It always comes full circle. It's a relatively newish style still at the moment that people are struggling to get their head around. But it's not apart from Chimaev's brilliant to watch just because he does so much weird stuff like carrying people around. But for the most part, it can be a little bit of a dull style to watch, with respect. And I feel like that could be a problem if it becomes too dominant in every single weight class. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's another topic entirely. But yeah, to your point, I feel like this one just has entertainment written all over it, which is what this is all about. That's why this is the headline, and that's why these guys are where they are. It's why Colby Covington got the rematch, for God's sake. People can bitch and cry about how, he hasn't even fought anybody in the current top 10. It's like, shut the fuck up. He doesn't need to fight anybody in the current top 10 because Kamaru Usman hates him. He hates Kamaru Usman. He gave Kamaru Usman the most competitive fight of his career so far. And I don't really count the Jorge Masvidal one. I know it went to a decision, but it was mostly Toe Thompson shit. But either way, it was the most. There's a narrative there, and there's a story, and people want the narrative. They want the story, and they want to see the good guy versus the bad guy. And this is just it. It's kind of the perfect fight. In a lot of ways, it is the perfect fight. You know what I mean? Because I enjoyed that about Costa and Vettori. Just the fact that Costa came in as the full-blown bad guy. I had real almost anxiety before that, when they're in the octagon, before they're about to, they're having to hold them back. Do you know what I mean? They can't even get them to touch gloves. We need more of that. It added a real palpable excitement to it, to a fight that otherwise I was like, yeah, no, it'll be fun. You know what I mean? But with that extra like animosity, it was like, whoa, okay, this is gonna be tasty.
Yeah.
That's the difference between fun and tasty, isn't it? Just a few disrespectful comments here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And keeping it within the boundaries of trash talk too. As I said, there's no politics involved here, essentially, even though you could make the argument that he's, you know, the whole Donald Trump make America great again thing that he's doing, but he's not like it's not like a religious attack on family or any of that crap that Connor used to do.
You're right. I think they should do more of that. I agree with you.
More.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to throw you under the bus.
You're gonna get me cancelled, bro. Holy Jesus. My God, man. I'm gonna be the new host of the Burt Locker. I'm coming after your job, man.
Pretty funny though.
There you go. Absolutely. Good. No, it's exciting, and it's not disrespectful. And I'm sure that the two guys are going to handshake at the end of this, because they're not going to rematch for the third time. There's going to be no rubber match here. It's exciting.
I think I now see where the result is going in your eyes.
Here's the thing. I'm a huge, and I make no bones about it. Call me a Nickelback fan all you want. I am a huge Colby Covington fan.
What's wrong with Nickelback?
I absolutely love Nickelback, but I get shit for it all the time.
No, people give me shit for it. It's like, right, this is, again, sorry, I'm going off topic, but I'll be quick. I promise, right?
That's what she said. Go ahead.
Yeah. But Nickelback, right? The biggest complaint I hear about Nickelback is that, like, all their songs sound the same. It's like, yeah, they have a pretty signature sound, just like every band on the planet. You fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. But apparently Nickelback, I've never seen them live, but I've been told that they're incredible.
They're amazing. I saw them in 2004. They opened the show for Bon Jovi, and it was one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen in my life ever.
I've heard that. I've heard that of several people that aren't idiots, that that understand that Nickelback are good, and but there seems to be this popular thing to hate on certain things.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just like, this shit. It's like,
what's everybody saying? They don't like Nickelback. Oh yeah, I don't like Nickelback. That's the stupid.
Yeah, that is what happened.
World we live in.
Yeah.
But for Colby Covington, it is it's fun to see what he's doing. When a UFC heavyweight in Australia starts throwing stuff at you, you're getting under people's skin. It's funny. It's like he wears the suits. They're all shitty orange suits now. Like
Marty Snoozman.
Exactly, like Donald Trump does. He gives everybody, he doesn't like nicknames and stuff like that. But when it comes to the fights, he can fight too. He's a good fighter. Now here's my issue with the fight. I would say if it wasn't for the second Jorge Masvidal fight versus Usman, that Colby has a chance in this fight. I want Colby to win this fight. I hope he wins the fight. But when you have this wrestler in Usman and you see his last fight that showcased his ability to land that 1-2, like it was a kind of a looping left hook that got the hands out of the way. And that straight right came in and landed on Jorge Masvidal's chin. Dude, that was slick, basic boxing that you learn on week 2 that he just put into practice and landed it for a title fight to get his title back, or to keep his title, sorry.
Yeah, and to get that extra stone.
When you can do that as a wrestler, not only is the person worried about the striking, worried about getting in, and worried about the wrestling once you're inside. It's a constant stress. I hope Colby wins the fight. I would love him to be a champion.
Yeah.
But I think Usman's going to win it. I think he's going to knock him out.
Yes. That is one school of thought. Yes. Probably the right school of thought. Not going to lie. I mean, like Colby Covington, he's a significant underdog in this. Probably rightly so. Like I said, what really impressed me wasn't it was, as well as the big knockout of Jorge Masvidal, it was that shot that put away Gilbert Burns was incredible. When you look at how little he gave away on that. The reason that Burns couldn't defend that shot is because there was no tell. That's why. There was no tell. It just came, there was no drawback, nothing. His arm goes from that point to boom, like a piston, and that was what got him. It wasn't because like Gilbert Burns is pretty decent on his feet, you know, and he could have been able to defend that because it was a pretty, like as you said, it's a basic shot, but it was so fast and there was just no way to tell that it was coming, and that's what caught him off. Whereas with the Masvidal one, it was just like, again, it was slick and brilliant, but it was just like, if without the other shots that wouldn't have worked. Do you know what I mean? As you said, like it had to be set up with the other shots. And with both of those examples, what we've seen is that Kamaru Usman has become a very good striker in his own right, which, like you said, is a real problem. I think that I'm not saying that Colby Covington has a chance to win this fight. Honestly, he probably doesn't. I kind of, you know me, if you see my shtick, I like to pick for the underdogs. Do you know what I mean? I should be betting on Colby Covington all day in this. Yeah. Probably not gonna. Oh, but the odds are so trash on Usman. The odds are so bad. I might not even put it in my accumulator. I might not even bet on this fight.
It's just, I reserved the right when I was talking with my partner Evo during the week. I'm like, I don't want to call this fight. It's
say hi to Evo for me. I feel like I know him because I've watched him on so many videos. I will. Love that dude. He's brilliant. I'm a big fan.
Awesome. I'll pass on the regards. But we were just kind of talking. We were touching on it off camera, and I was just thinking, you know, it's just so hard to call. MMA mathematics doesn't work. Colby is on this. He's had one fight since the last fight, like the last title fight against Usman.
Yeah.
Usman is on this trajectory. What he did in his last fight was just astronomical. You know, when you see the super slow motion and the sweat comes off Jorge's
great. Oh, it's picture perfect. It was wonderful.
Yeah, man. So
what I would say though, just as a slight caveat, is that I think if you put Gilbert Burns or Jorge Masvidal in there against Colby Covington, I think Colby Covington mops the floor with them.
Honestly.
Against Jorge, yeah.
Wow.
I think Colby Covington. I think Colby Covington is very comfortably the second best fighter in that division.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not really counting Khamzat Chimaev yet. Like, I probably should put him in there because, wow. I mean, it's like, I think it's time to get on the train. I don't like getting on trains this early, but just because I quite rate Zhang Liang. That's the thing. Zhang Liang's tough. He beat Ponzinibbio and he's good. And for him to just pick him up, like, carry him over to the side of the octagon, say Dana White, look, I'm back, throw him to the floor and then choke him out. It's kind of like, what did I just watch there?
I had no confidence in him coming into this one after that year, COVID,
same. There were a lot of factors.
Publicly being sick and publicly talking about your sickness and the panic attacks that he was having. I thought he was going to get mopped in this fight. And then he comes in and it's just like killer. Like,
I think that he just wants to try and get that title as quickly as possible so that he can actually retire. Because he retired, and then that Chechnyan dictator was like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, I heard about that.
No, you ain't.
That's a tough guy,
man. Shit. So you know, it's like you can't retire in Chechnya if the Chechen dictators don't want you. It's like, come on,
man.
But, yeah.
But I just think that this is going to be a fight at the weekend that. I don't know. Does it end early? Does it go the 5 rounds? Who break? Like when Usman during that post-fight press conference or post-fight interview was like, "I broke your face." Like he literally broke his face, and that was like the sheer boxing power of that right hand coupled with his amazing left hooks. That's a scary aspect of MMA. And then when you take into consideration his superior jiu-jitsu or superior, wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be a tough night for Colby.
For me, if Colby Covington is going to have a chance in this fight, very similar to what I was saying with Michael Chandler, he doesn't have to get the takedowns, but he does have to threaten with the wrestling. Because I think he knows. I don't think his strategy this time is going to be to go in there and kickbox with Usman. I feel like he's a smart enough guy to know that is going to go real horribly, unless he's not. Unless No, he's got supreme because Colby Covington, he has got good hands. And one thing that I would say is that if Colby Covington could implement his wrestling, I'm not saying that he can't, but like, I mean, wrestling wise, credentials wise, they're both very similar. Like, and they didn't really wrestle. Neither of them tried to wrestle in the first fight. So we don't really have an answer to that question. Even after like 4.5 rounds of a fight, we don't really have an answer to which one is the superior wrestler because we just didn't see it.
Yeah.
But there is nothing to say that Colby Covington can't take Kamaru Usman down. There's nothing to say that. Do you know what I mean? Kamaru Usman's a phenomenal offensive wrestler, and he's likely very good against other wrestlers to stay on his feet. That's very likely. But Colby Covington is an excellent wrestler in his own right, and not just excellent. I mean, he's top tier, like Kamaru Usman is. So if Colby Covington shoots him for a takedown and he gets it, what then? Because all of a sudden, like for me, Kamaru Usman, his stamina usually lasts in a fight because he fights at a pace that he's comfortable with. Colby Covington, when he wins his fights, he pushes a pace that his opponent is uncomfortable with. I think that would be the key for victory for Colby Covington in this one. He needs to push a pace that Kamaru Usman is not comfortable with, because then you're going to get that guy tired. You're not built like Kamaru Usman and doing the same pace as Colby Covington. Colby Covington can likely push a harder pace for longer than Kamaru Usman. I don't think I'm out of my mind to think that. I really don't. Because I feel like you've got, because Kamaru Usman, he's muscle on top of muscle. He is going to get tired eventually. Now, I know that like usually like cardio is a weapon of Kamaru Usman's, but again, I feel like that's more down to his style and more that he manages to dictate how the pace of the fight goes himself. If he's having the fight dictated to him, I think that could be an issue. And again, clutching at straws, because I do feel like Kamaru Usman's probably going to win this one. I think it goes 5 rounds personally. I think the decision for Kamaru Usman is probably the most likely. But if Colby Covington's to win this fight, it is because he pushes a pace that Usman cannot quite match. And then as you see the rounds go on, all of a sudden you see the mouth open a bit. You see him just kind of like, okay, right, this guy still hasn't gone away. And I haven't quite got the pop left to kind of catch him anymore. And what am I going to do now? Oh, he's taking me down again. How has this happened? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing, that can happen. I mean, it's a very real possibility. It could happen. And that's why this fight is so interesting, honestly.
Yeah, more wrestling. So it would be the key to victory for Colby. Should be interesting, man. I am excited for these fights, and they're happening tonight because it's Saturday.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's good, man. I think that's good for our analyzations and predictions and breakdowns of what's going to happen. UFC 268. Very excited to see it all. Will you watch it live?
Absolutely not. No. What am I? 21? Come on. No. Honestly, I feel like if it's a really big event, sometimes I will stay up and watch it. But this one is in Madison Square Garden. Not a chance because it starts even later. The main card doesn't start until 2 a.m., which means that the main fights, the main event probably won't walk out until 5. That's crazy. Come on, man. I'm not doing that. What I will do is I will set an alarm for 7 and I will have some bacon and some eggs and some coffee, and I will watch it. I don't pause it. That's the thing. I just hit play and I just let it roll. I might fast forward the adverts. Not gonna lie.
Burt, where can people find you and what are you doing? Hit your socials.
Well, my Twitter is Burt_green. So yeah, BURT_green. And basically, I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. Just search the Burt Locker, and you will find me. I generally do 2 shows a week. One show, basically crying about how terribly all my bets went the weekend before, and the other show making all new terrible bets, baby. That's what I'm all about. I try to keep it light, have a bit of fun, and So I'm on, so YouTube, Twitter, as I said, Burt_Green. Instagram is, I think, the Burt_Green. I can't remember, but Burt Green on Facebook as well. Burt Green Comedy is my comedy page because I do stand-up comedy as well. I drop clips every now and again on my YouTube channel, so keep a lookout for those. And I post dates and stuff. If you're in the UK and happen to be especially near Coventry, because I do a lot of gigs in Coventry these days. Coventry is lighting up. So if you want to come and see me tell dick jokes and whatnot, it's a good time, you know. But yeah. So I think that's pretty much all of my plugs. I will be doing. I'm on Patreon as well. So basically, on my Patreon, you do get there's an exclusive audio only, which I'm going to be doing later on tonight, because basically I do a making of. It's all my research going into the bets, why I'm betting the way I'm betting, you know, having a real deep look at the fighters. It's slightly less silly, slightly more professional. And it's really kind of looking hard at the records and trying to figure out where there's some value on some odds. Because whilst my bets are terrible, what I go for is not, because it's very difficult to pick MMA bets. Like it's very difficult to pick MMA fights. All you can do really is have a look at some odds where there is some value there, where the odds should not be as long as they are. For instance, just last week, I got a pretty good return on Glover Teixeira by submission because they had him down at 7-1. And I was like, well, look, if Glover Teixeira is winning that fight, he's winning it by submission. And would you look at that? I was right. But you're also looking at a guy that backed Dan Hooker. So what the fuck do I know?
Jesus, that was an assassination.
You win some, you lose some.
You're a social media king then, like an assassin. You're on all platforms, and your Patreon as well. Is like Patreon's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's not many subscribers yet, but there will be.
Awesome. I heard that's where you go when you're cancelled, but you're taking that route
anyway. Well, it's a good way. If I can just get a few subscribers, I can start putting some more money into the show and expanding it a little bit. And like I said, there's extra content on the Patreon, and you get early access to my picks as well, because my picks drop on YouTube on the Saturday, but they drop on Friday on the Patreon, which can actually be more useful than you think, because sometimes the odds shift rather a lot. For instance, who was it? Somebody missed weight. I think no. That's
Chimaev.
Right. That's right. No. It was Robbie Lawler against Nick Diaz, and originally Robbie Lawler was an underdog on the Thursday. On the Thursday, Robbie Lawler was an underdog, and I said on my audio exclusive to Patreon, I said on my audio, guys, if you're going to make any bets on Robbie Lawler, you need to Robbie was the underdog on the Thursday. I was like, you want to put Nick Diaz? I've seen him walking into fight week. He looks like a fucking homeless 40-year-old Nick Diaz. Honestly. Like he looked. No, I'm not right. I know that people will say, "Oh, but Nick Diaz never looked ripped," but he didn't look out of shape either. He looked awful. He looked bad. Like he looked like he hadn't slept. He looked like he was tweaking on meth or something. Like he looked bad. And I took one look at him and I was like, guys, if you're going to bet on Robbie Lawler, get those bets in now. Get them in this second. I am putting the house on Robbie Lawler by knockout, because he is going to put Nick Diaz away. That is happening 100%. And right now, that is like 6-1. You ain't getting 6-1 tomorrow. It slipped to 3-1, I think. Do you know what I mean? So the value was there on the Thursday, weren't there on the Saturday. Weren't there.
There you go, man. Get on the Patreon. You get the better picks. You get the better odds. Yeah. That is absolutely sweet, man. Thank you very much for coming on. I do appreciate all of your time and your energy and your picks and your analysis and your breakdowns. Talking about fights is something I've missed over the last 2 years. This podcast is saving me, and it's because of podcasts just like this. So it is absolutely therapy, man, just to be able to sit down and analyze what's happening at the weekend. And then to break it down after the fact, and then to look back at our ranting and raving it's therapy essentially. So I love it, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Well, yeah, anytime, man. Honestly, I very much enjoy talking to you about fights. It's just, it's brilliant. It's nice to, because like I said, normally I do it. Like I said, I always call it talking into the void. I know. I get a few views here and there, so technically it's not, but it is. Yeah. like, you know, it's a very different thing. I do quite enjoy having a discussion about it. It's nice because you see different viewpoints, and you kind of like, you know, 'cause it's like things that you pick up on. It's like, yeah, absolutely. There's yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's been a fun time, and I always thoroughly enjoy it, mate. So yeah, anytime.
Awesome, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to us. If you like what you hear, if you like how we look, if you like anything about what you're hearing or seeing right now, do me a favor. Don't do anything, because I'm sick of talking about like, follow, share, subscribe, rate, review, all that crap. It annoys me. I'm sure it annoys you. Don't do anything. Just send me a private message and say, fuck you.
Could I just add to that?
Yeah.
Don't listen to what he just said. If you could just like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. And we're trying to grow this thing, guys. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking. He's hepped up on goofballs. He doesn't know what he's saying. Yeah, like and subscribe, share around, tell your friends. Much love.
I agree with Bart. I'm losing my goddamn mind over here. Thank you very much, man. Guys, thank you very much. Enjoy the fights. Bart, appreciate your time, man. Thank you again.
Beautiful.